a writer, I am driven by stories about family, identity, home, belonging. I think that all the characters that I write about are trying to find a place in which they feel comfortable, in which they feel at liberty to be themselves and to express themselves. And it can be a physical home, it can be a spiritual home, but I think that that's key to many of the stories I write. Now, having said that, many of the stories I write have to do with issues related to Japan and the United States. I mean, I was born in Japan, my mother's from Japan, I have lots of family and friends there. I love that culture, and it's quite organic to my identity. And so bridging the gap between things Japanese and things American has just kind of found its way into my work. I'm hoping that they walk away changed to one degree or another, that I've allowed them an avenue to think differently about something, even if it's just a little bit. You know, it's not that I have to go out and change their lives or to completely change their way of thinking, but that in some way seeing the work has transformed them and made them think differently about something else, made them do something differently, that it inspired reflection. And that's really the most that one can ask of an audience. And sometimes I think my work definitely has a particular point of view, and that point of view is, I guess in one word, transnational. I don't see the world as separated or segregated by boundaries. I feel, particularly as a child of a transnational experience, that we can exist across borders. My work reflects that point of view too, that there are no borders, and that ultimately when we search for a sense of identity, for a sense of home, but often it's within us, but we have to come full circle to that. And sometimes, you know, the person from France will find that they're more comfortable in China, or the person from China will find that they're more comfortable in, you know, Kentucky. I mean, we don't know, but I think that when we stop thinking of borders and divisions, and the fences start to come down, and we lead more fluid lives. And so I think that that definitely is part of what's at the heart of my work. Film is a very exciting medium, and I guess I always think of it as a sister art to the theater. So I feel that for my own plays, it's exciting to see them live and breathe in a different form. I've been writing opera, been writing musical theater. I just translated or adapted one of my plays into a novel. All that's exciting, and film represents a whole other version of that, because in a different way than a novel, it can travel, if you will, and more people can see it, and with the internet it can become, you know, visible in that way as well. So it's exciting because then, of course, I reach a larger audience, and I like Ono no Komachi because she's a poet, so I like the art of her. I love that she expressed herself in a creative way. I also like the fact that she is a woman who was able to express herself artistically at a time when women held a somewhat, you know, subjugated role in Japanese society. And I think, frankly, you know, all over the world, that even though there are more and more powerful women and women doing all sorts of things, that often that continues to be the case in many respects. And so to bring a story like that to life, I think illuminates both poetry, the arts, as well as the female spirit. Creating a film about her allows us to reach, again, a wider audience, and have people not only learn about Ono no Komachi, but to think about the power of poetry and how involved it is in the human condition. And I don't just mean literal poetry on page, but the poetry of relationship and of striving to create a human tie through something creative and artistic. In Path of Dreams, the focus really is on themes of artistic power, the female spirit, and also the focus is on a woman who happens to be a poet, but a woman who struggles to interpret love in her life, you know, and that she does it, you know, through the use of poetry, I think makes it resonate that much more powerfully. I hope that my work inspires others to create and to tell their stories. Because the seed of my work really is about defining home and identity and finding that sense of belonging wherever it might be, in another country, another culture, another town. And I hope that that theme inspires people to cross borders and to take chances and be courageous and, you know, pursue whatever it is their dreams might be. And yet I feel that there are so many questions to be asked and things that, stories to be told, and I feel that many of the stories are untold, particularly of Japanese female immigrants here in the United States, or of even Japanese women historically in Japan, simply because those were not the stories that got told. And so I'm always looking for new ways to tell them, to bring them to light, because I think that we learn something from hearing those stories, not just about those characters specifically, but about ourselves and about the way that people live or can live together in an ever increasingly smaller planet. So.